If you've been to the drugstore lately, specifically the makeup section, the eyebrow product has had an explosion. It's sort of like the lip explosion that we had in the summer of 2024, where lip products you didn't even know you needed, were all over the market. That's what we're starting to see in brows this year. So if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Jody. Think of me as your midlife beauty bestie, and I do what's called Friday Face Off every other Friday, where we compare two products that say they do essentially the same thing side by side so that we can determine is one better than the other. Today's Friday Face Off is a little bit different in that we're testing two brow products. So let me just get into it and walk you through what we're gonna do today. Side note, these clips, I get asked about these a lot because I wear them in every video. I have these everywhere because they're the extra large ones. I'll link them below. They're by Amazon. You can find them just, again, the key is the longer ones. I find that the shorter ones, my hair was always getting stuck between this part and this little spring. There's probably, yeah, there's a spring there. So anyway, the extra long ones, that's really all they are. All right, so today's Friday Face Off, we are going to compare the Maybelline Express Brow that goes on more like a mascara. I have reviewed this one before. If you've watched my channel, you know I love this one. This sells for about $10, $9.99. We're going to review that up against L'Oreal, not Maybelline, L'Oreal's Fake Brow. This is brand new on the market, and this sells for $12.99. Now, the reason I'm going to compare these two is because they apply different. They're different applications altogether, so that you'll get an idea of whatever your brow situation is, which of the two application formula brush styles will work best for you. Like I said, the Maybelline one is the Express Brow versus the L'Oreal Fake Brow. Now, I don't know how this review is going to turn out, but in my mind, I'd like to have a Express Fake Brow if we could just put these together. The L'Oreal Fake Brow Ultra Fine Double Brush Tip Brow Filling Pin, is what this is called, is going to apply and wear very different because it is meant to have hair strokes. There you can see my fine artwork. The formula is a little bit more of a liquid. The Maybelline Express Brow, think of this as a brow mascara. It has a mascara type wand. It goes on like a mascara, but it also leaves hair-like strokes. So you may find, after we apply these, how they wear, you may find that you like the application process, or that one is easier than the other. Or you might find that you like the way one looks, because they do wear differently. I shouldn't say, they apply differently. They look differently on the eyebrow. They don't necessarily wear differently, or at least we don't know that as of yet. So let's just get into it. I'm going to use the Express Brow first. I have it in color 255. I have 55-year-old brows. I have brows that says in the 80s and 90s I overplucked. And now they're saying I've added a couple gray. But as I say in my videos, you guys, the aging process is a blessing. So I will take gray brows. I'm just glad I have growth and that I'm alive and that I'm growing brows. It doesn't mean I have to embrace the gray brows or that I have to embrace the thin brows. I prefer a little thicker brow. So this mascara one by Maybelline, it is again, I have it in 255, which is a soft brown. I like it because it leaves hair stroke looking strokes, right? Is that the word I'm looking for? Because it doesn't leave me with a solid brow. So as I've gotten older, the solid brow is just not a look that I want. I want my brows to look as though they are hairs, not one solid stripe. Now, brows, remember, are supposed to be sisters, not twins. So when you're done with your brows, they're not meant to look exactly the same. No one's brows are exactly the same. And the more symmetrical your brows look, the more fake they look, dare I say. So this one goes on pretty easy. It does help if you get all of the product off your small little wand before you apply it. And then once I get the brow the way I want, I'll go back in and clean it up with a little bit of a concealer. So you can see the difference in the brows. That one definitely looks more spiky. So that's a nice looking brow. I then like to finish up my brows with just a little bit of a concealer or a foundation, whatever you have. I just happen to grab my e.l.f. Soft Glam because it's sitting right here. Just take it on the back of a flat brush because I like a more of a straight line to my brows. So I'm just going to carve them out so that it looks more clean and straight. I usually would do this with a concealer because I like it to be a little lighter under my brow than the rest of my face, but this will be just fine. It'll go fine with my makeup look today. And then we'll just go across the top. So pretty simple, really easy brow, and I like it. Now I'm gonna let that dry down because I do wanna see how stiff that gets. And don't forget, we're gonna do an 8-hour wear test so that we can see how long both of these brows hold up, because we may find that we like one better than the other. All right, so now for the L'Oreal side, I'm gonna comb those up a little bit because I don't know, I feel like my brow hairs on this side are longer and they need a little more combing. All right, this L'Oreal has, the fake brow has 2 points on the ends for a very easy fake brow look. I have it in color 390, which is dark blonde. And I think I'm gonna start down here. I'm just going to apply those right at the edge. I feel like I need to hold my hand a little more steady. And just softly, ooh, that really does give nice brow hairs. Well, you guys, this works well too. It fills in your brows. Now that's a nice looking brow to start with, but my brows are too far apart as I've gotten older. Just the hair doesn't grow in as much as I'd like it to. And for the look I like my brows to be right along the edge of your nose. So essentially I'm about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch short. So I'm going to create fake brows with this. Zoom you guys in so you can see and see how that works. I mean, I feel like I'm doing one of those, if you've watched any beauty stuff on TikTok, don't you feel like as soon as somebody uses a product that they've been sponsored to use, they use it and like, first of all, this video is not sponsored. L'Oreal and Maybelline didn't send me anything. I bought this myself. That's the genuine reaction I want to give right now because that looks like my real hair. Okay, so we're gonna leave it like that, but I do want to fill in this side with this one. Sorry, Maybelline, but I do kind of want to do that because this one's not, well, let's not do that. All right, so knowing that I was able to carry my brow out and fake the brow 1/4 of an inch with this, and it looks pretty darn real, I didn't attempt, let's attempt that with this brush on the other side. I just am a little hesitant, but the thing about this brush, you guys, in fairness, is it is 2 different lengths. There's a long length and a short length. Now, knowing that I want to create hairs, I'm going to use the longer bristled side, but I'm gonna pick up as much of that product off the brush as I can because I don't want a whole brush length. That will bring my brows too far into my nose. So I am going to just use 2 or 3 and just softly apply some hair strokes. It applies a little more chunky than that L'Oreal did. It still gives a hair look, but it is a little bit more inconsistent. There's areas where the hair is a little thicker than where it's thin based on the amount of product that's on each bristle. So if you've got less hair and you want to create more, this is probably a really good option because it does deposit more product, where the L'Oreal doesn't deposit as much product and it leaves you with a really nice brow. Now, just like on the Maybelline side, I do want to just clean up a little bit to give them both a fair shot of a high degree of success for the day. And then, like I said, you guys, I will check back in probably 8 hours and let's just see how they look. And what's interesting is this Maybelline 255 looks very similar in color to the 391 dark blonde. I really like this color. I probably would have went with more one shade lighter on both, but once I pull my hair down, they may look okay. All right, so clean the brows up. They both look like brows. This one looks a little more bushy, a little more, not thick, but definitely more full than this brow. So before we decide which one's best, and you'll have to make this individual decision, is what do you need your brows to do and how quick do you want to apply them? This is an express brow, but I found it did go on quick. This went on equally as quick. I like the looks of this one better, but there are some days where I want a thicker, bushier brow look with a minimized eye makeup look. The majority of the time though, I like their brow with a bigger eyelash look. And it's important to kind of balance that out. You don't want big bushy brows with big thick eyeliner. That's just too many thick things. You want one thick, one thin to balance. This side, my typical look is a normal brow with big lashes. But I think I can pull them both off for today. I don't think anyone's gonna look at me and go, wow, you must have a Friday face-off going on because one brow is way bigger. So that's where we're gonna leave it. This one feels a little bit stiff, not sticky, but stiff. This one just feels normal. There's no feeling to that. In fact, now that I did that, let me just see if I transfer anything. No, nothing's transferred. So that's good. All right, so far they don't transfer, they don't feel sticky or stiff or anything, and they both look pretty darn natural. So $10, $13, let's see how they hold up. All right, so let's check out these brows, because you guys, I gotta tell you, all day I was kind of peeking in the mirrors. I'd walk by and see kind of what the brows were doing, and I gotta say, they're holding up pretty darn good. 8 hours later, they both feel the same. They don't feel stiff or anything. They both are in the same shape that they were literally at the beginning of my day. It hasn't been windy outside, so I mean, not that my brows ever move in the wind. Gosh, if my brows are ever so long that they move in the wind, that's a whole nother issue. I just need to clip them. They shouldn't be breezing in the wind. Anyway, I am super impressed with both of these products, and I think for me it comes down to the overall look that I'm going for. And quite frankly, there are days when I want a fuller, more, fluffy's the wrong word, just it's a bolder brow. And then there are days that I want a more simple brow like this L'Oreal. I like the way this one looks a little more natural. So if you are somebody that likes a no makeup look or a more natural makeup look, but you feel like your brows just aren't up to the challenge, then I think you would really like this one from L'Oreal. The thing that makes this work so quick, I think, and natural is the distance between those two felt tips. You can really get in there pretty quick and create a fake looking brow that looks like hair and looks really natural. So I love that. And again, if you're a more natural makeup person, this would be great. I like both. I really like both because they both give you a little bit different look. So I don't know that I really helped you answer any questions today other than, are these brow products that you would want in your arsenal? For me, the answer is definitely yes, because there's days when I'd want this, and great for vacation. And then there's days where I want a thicker, fluffier brow. So I like them a lot, and I like them both a lot, and I like how long they lasted. So are there a lot of brow products at the drugstore? Yes. Are there two that I would highly recommend? Also, yes. I would just go a shade lighter than I went, and again, this is $2.55 and this was $3.91. So I personally would go a shade lighter, but I would use these regularly in my makeup routine. So Friday Face Off, it is kind of a tie depending on what your overall needs are. Now, next Friday Face Off, you definitely don't want to miss. It will be in 2 weeks from now because we are testing the Even Better Clinical Foundation. This is the brand new one by Clinique. I picked it up the other day at Ulta. Super excited to give this one a try. I will probably compare this with the Ulta Beauty Complexion Crush because that is my new go-to. It's what I have on today. I absolutely am loving that foundation. So I thought, why not? Why not test it? It's 16 bucks. This one I think was 45. So I have high hopes for it, considering how much I love that Ulta Beauty one. All right, you guys, that does it for me today. I hope you have a fantastic day. As always, thanks so much for watching, and let me know down below if you've got a brow product that you absolutely love and would recommend to the rest of us in the community. I'll see you guys in just a couple days. Bye-bye.